Within the past few days, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy seems to really be coming around to the idea of opening an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Before we get started, can you walk us through what is an impeachment inquiry?
Yes. So as we know, former President Donald Trump went through two previous impeachment inquiries, and the way this works is the House will vote to formally impeach a president or a member of their cabinet. This happened to Donald Trump in 2019 and again in 2021, and then the Senate conducts a trial. And in order to, formally impeach, eject the president, the Senate has to agree with 2/3 of a vote of its members. So it's very unlikely that even if the House were to vote to impeach Biden, that this would pass the Democratic-controlled Senate. Already there is not a broad consensus among Republicans in either chamber as to whether they want to continue to move forward with this Biden impeachment push. So it looks a bit unlikely. And yes, we are hearing more, serious threats of an impeachment against Biden right now. But this is something that, Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced a similar resolution during last session of Congress that never went anywhere. Right now, where the current impeachment movement stands against Biden is the House voted last month when Lauren Boebert forced a vote on her resolution to impeach him, and the House voted to refer that resolution to committee. So the committee is currently, investigating the merits of this impeachment inquiry, and if they gather what they deem as sufficient evidence, they could put the resolution back before the House for a formal vote.
I do want to discuss the why here, because why do some Republicans want to impeach the president? Is this a tit for tat? Hey, you guys, the Democrats impeached Donald Trump twice. Now we want to impeach President Biden. What do they believe he did here that surmounts to an impeachment?
So I think that, yes, for some Republicans, it is sort of a tit for tat, but I think that some Republicans are also wary of agreeing to this idea out of concerns that they may be accused of hypocrisy, as so many in the party widely derided Democrats for impeaching former President Donald Trump and said that they did not have sufficient evidence to do so. The current allegations, as I mentioned, Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene both have resolutions to impeach Biden, and those cite his immigration policies at the southern border. What they say is, a lack of security at the border, and that he has let too many illegal immigrants in. However, I think it's notable that Lauren Boebert she vowed to force a vote, and that later came to fruition on the same day that the Justice Department announced the plea agreement between Hunter Biden, the president's son, and the Justice Department. And, many Republicans widely criticized the agreement, including former President Donald Trump, as too lenient. So this seems to be part of an effort to push back on that as well. And this impeachment effort has really, at the time that Lauren Boebert introduced her resolution last month, Kevin McCarthy, the House Speaker, was against this. He said it was premature. But in the weeks since, as more details have come out surrounding these bribery allegations against President Joe Biden that involve his son, and allegations that they were paid by the CEO of a Ukrainian energy company that Hunter Biden once sat on the board of, to essentially pressure Ukraine to fire a prosecutor who was investigating the company Burisma. So it's a complex web involving the president, his son, and of course, this push to impeach Biden is definitely echoing a lot of former President Donald Trump's concerns and allegations against the president and the Justice Department over its handling of Hunter Biden's case in comparison to his own.
I do want to get to Hunter Biden in a moment, but you did mention that the Republicans pushing for impeachment at first were the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert. I know you're saying this is still fringe, but do you see it moving towards maybe a more mainstream GOP movement?
Right now, honestly, I don't. I think, there were a lot of Republican lawmakers in the House, in Kevin McCarthy's own conference, who came out this week and said that there are bigger issues to be worrying about. And again, I think that there are fears within the party that if they did move forward with this effort, then they would be criticized of hypocrisy again, because they widely condemned the first two impeachments of former President Donald Trump. So some of the Republican lawmakers who, criticized McCarthy, I'm speaking specifically to Representative Ken Buck of Colorado. He called this political theater in an interview with CNN earlier this week and said that he believes McCarthy is doing this essentially to placate Republicans who are upset about the debt limit agreement that he negotiated with the White House. So it's really hard to know what McCarthy's motivations are in saying this, but I think that there is merit, to this idea presented by Buck that he's trying to play both sides here, and show the right-wing lawmakers, some goodwill as he is trying to negotiate this spending deal. And by that I mean the budget negotiations for fiscal year 2024 are ongoing. They are due at the end of September when the current fiscal year expires. And there's a lot of, that's the main focus for lawmakers on Capitol Hill in both the Senate and the House right now. And there's, again, a lot of concern that, the right wing is going to resist any budget that is put forward because of the deal that McCarthy agreed to with Biden on the debt ceiling that set spending caps that they do not believe went far enough. So there's a ton of political maneuvering going on right now, and it's really hard to say what McCarthy's motivations are and giving some merit to this impeachment push. But as of now, I don't see, again, it having enough consensus just within the Republican Party alone for this to move forward.